So Leech and Leader seem to have taken over the meta, but there may be an even better deck out there. We have figured out that there is this good stuff deck where you just put in all of the best cards that are in Snap and put them all in the same deck. And the new addition to that is a Series 5 card, Shuri. Props to KMBest who took the good stuff package and put Shuri in there, and then also Vision. So we're taking the same deck that we were running with Leech and Leader, and we're throwing in Shuri and Vision. Vision with Shuri combined just completely obliterates people because it's basically, as Cam Best had said in my stream the other day, it's a dino on wheels. It's 14 attack. It's just able to move to any lane, and it just puts out so much variability that your opponent can't really play around it very well. So you can end those final turns with Aero and Leader, and it just completely crushes the Leech Leader deck that's out there, and then also just so many other archetypes as well. So let's go ahead and hop into some games and see how this plays out. So it plays out very similar to the Leech Leader list, where you're trying to just put out all your big stuff first, trying to get as much value as you can. So as you can see here, we have the Sunspot that's going to go out here, and Cloning Vats is actually great with Sunspot, so you can put it into the Cloning Vats and then duplicate it multiple times. And if you start skipping with multiple Sunspots out there, it really exponentially increases how much the skip is worth. Unfortunately, though, when you commit too many Sunspots, sometimes it can get a little bit risky if someone's running like a Killmonger. If someone's running Agent 13, it's not guaranteed they're not running a Killmonger, but it is more likely that they're not. A place like Mojo World means that we're going to have to consider the possibility of trying to start committing cards there already. We only have 4 cards left that we're going to play out if we play 1 card a turn. Because right now, looking at our curve in our hand, we do have the turn 4 Shuri, turn 5 Vision, which is the key combo in this deck to follow up with either a Leader, Aero, or even Magneto sometimes. So we could decide to play another Sunspot, which would give us the same amount of power as Maximus in this lane alone, and another Sunspot back to our hand, but we're not really necessarily playing another Sunspot for the rest of the game. So I don't know if we want to play it over on Mojo World. It gives us 4 power over here, an extra 3 power over here. It is a little bit more risky. It doesn't give him 2 cards when he draws, so it's a little bit better that way. And now I kind of want to play out the Shuri again, just because this allows us to get the 14 power Vision, which is really hard to play around. So the Vision itself, a lot of people play like a turn 5 Aero. We can put the Vision on Stark Tower to get the buff. A lot of people, we could also play get a second 14 power Vision if we want, which would mean that it would have been probably right to copy the Sunspot. So do we want to copy another 14 power Vision, or do we want to get a Stark Tower buff? We know he White Queened us, which means he either has a Magneto or a Leader from us. So if he has a Leader, we probably don't want another Vision being played out for him to copy.
All systems go.
So now we have a 16 power Vision. We can move it anywhere. He could potentially Leader us. If we just play Vision over here, we can Leader ourselves in the middle, and we'd pretty much always win. Normally, I probably would have snapped when I saw that we had the Shuri Vision combo in hand with a Leader Aero follow-up. We're playing against like a Dino Leader list potentially. So we're just going to do this and end our turn. He can't really win since we will have the power advantage against him in 2 different lanes with the Leader in the middle. He might even retreat if he has the Leader himself. But no, he just wants to copy our Leader's mid and lose the game.
Victory.
So he did copy our Leader there. Let's go ahead and hop into the next game. So that alone shows you the power of Shuri. So Shuri there allowed us to double the value of our Vision, which was even better than the Dinosaur. And he couldn't just Leader the lane. He was winning 2 lanes going into turn 6, but the Vision allowed us to move and gain advantage. And once again, we do have Shuri again. Aero is another good card to double up, but we did draw the vision, so this is a pretty good snap turn since we do have turn 3 Maximus, turn 4 Shuri, turn 5 Vision, and then we have a turn 6 Aero. Aero might not even be our turn 6 because there is a Sanctum, but it probably is, because if we can gain an advantage in one lane, so he's Psylocked, he has 5 cards in hand. If we Maximus, it'll give him 2 cards plus another card, plus the Maximus itself. He'll play out 1 card potentially this turn, maybe a Mr. Negative. And if he does that, we definitely do not want to give him cards. So I would recommend not playing Maximus here and instead playing Thor. It's a good thing we drew Thor. We probably even give him Thor, because playing Thor on later turns is not as high a value. I played out a Bast, not a Mr. Negative, but it wasn't worth the risk of him playing out a Mr. Negative. And we even top decked the hammer right away. So we can even play out this hammer. So here's how this plays out. We want to make sure that we hammer before Shuri. We can kill off our hammer to give ourselves some space as well. We want to play out Shuri, play out the Vision. The Vision can go into the Sanctum. And on the last turn, if he hasn't filled up Hala, we can arrow him to Hala and win the right here. You don't have to play the Mjolnir out this turn, is one thing to try, but I would rather be able to take over priority this next turn.
Mjolnir, to me.
And him running a Bast means he's probably less likely to be running a Shang-Chi. So we did give him a Shuri. I don't think it's very good for him to... We definitely don't want to give him the Vision is the thing. So if we played the Vision of the Machine World, it would give him a 14 power Vision. So we don't want to do that. And he left before anything happened, so... His deck is running just like a lot of smaller stuff, it would look like, so it's not very good on the Sanctum, so he gets out a little bit early. But again, you can see just the power of Vision again. And here for this last game, we're going to go ahead and check our first location is Clintar, which means anything we play there is going to be morphed into a symbiote, which means that we probably don't want to play armor there. We can play any of these cards there if we want. We can go ahead and play armor out if we want to. I think Domino's better just because it is the same power, and we also get the chance to play armor later if we think he is some sort of destroy deck. So this is from the Triskelion. This is from Triskelion. So that means that we don't know what type of deck he's running yet. So if we want to run Hawkeye, since we have a decent curve, I think Hawkeye will be better than Sunspot. It'll gain more power. We could have considered not Fisk or arming the Fisk Tower if we wanted to arrow it later. But I think this is better for us right now because we don't have arrow in hand. We could also have considered for the Magneto play later on. He has not played any 3-drops though. Looks like a Khazar Blue Marvelous potentially with the Squirrel Girl. I was actually created from Triskelion as well, so all we know is he runs Star-Lord and Rescue so far. So we know he's going to play to the right here. All we have is a White Queen play here. We could White Queen mid to put us up to 15 there. We will see what his last turn play is. He already has 3 cards here, so I think this, and he's going to play a card on the right. So if we can go ahead and get within, we'll be tied here on the left. So now the question is, so he's up by 9, we're up by 6. Leader puts us up by 10. We know he has his own leader. So if he plays leader to the left, we copy 3 leaders. He will copy 1 leader. We will still win mid, but we will copy enough that we will win the game. So we beat leader every time here. We're going to play his own leader out for a little bit of BM to show him that we copied his leader and we're going to just play it. We'll see if he follows through or if he gets out of the game. Yeah, so we still win this game just because we copied 3 leaders here. So, not too close. He should not have played leader out there if he wanted to win. Knowing that we had white queened, he should have had an inkling that we were planning on leadering there. So as you can see, Shuri once again just helped us get our power up. It didn't necessarily combo with vision, which it won't always, but you can see that it's still very strong even without, getting you the advantage most of the time by turn 5. And it's just overall very strong. I would definitely recommend trying out this deck if you end up getting Shuri. I would definitely recommend getting Shuri if you end up having enough collector's tokens to grab it and you're pretty far through pool 3. I don't know if it'll be worth picking it up individually, just because if you're early on in pool 3, there's going to be a lot of pool 3 you're missing that you should probably pick up before Shuri just because it's so expensive compared to those pool 3 cards. But definitely would recommend it. This deck is definitely going to be insane for the next little bit here until maybe there's some changes that they might do in the future. But yeah, check it out. And as always, you can go ahead and give this channel a subscribe. You can see it right down below. Comment, tell me what you think about this deck. I know it's just slightly different than our leader Leech deck. You can go and watch that video as well if you didn't catch that. And it'll give you a little bit more insight into how to play just the basis of this deck. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time.